Skaven turn 4 starts off with a little bit of a mix-up. He charges the... I think it was a mix-up over how you resolve charges on people who are already fleeing. In any event, um, he was able to get into the flank of my Zinch bunker, and so I fled from that. And that was really the only thing that happened as far as his movement. He did some shuffling around, but remember, a lot of his stuff is in combat or off on the my left flank and not really in a position to do anything exciting. So without shooting and magic, we go straight into close combat. Here's the fight between our generals. I challenge. He refuses. I send his BSB to the back like I thought I was going to. I direct everything on his general, and I destroy him. I Rapier of Ecstasy him. And it's not enough, though, so I lose combat, and I take a break test, and you can see here what happened to that break test. I fled and luckily got away again. Again, this is the second time this game I've really wanted the Crown of Command, because if that guy had died in Blood and Glory, I probably would have lost. I forget how the VPs were, or how the banners were calculated at this point, but I very well could have lost if he would have rolled high enough to catch me. Over here you can see a little bit of the rest of the board. You see Purple Group has reformed kind of to look at the Hell Cannon, and you can tell the Hell Cannon is still hanging out here. It is fighting some slaves. I really wanted it to kill, I think it only needed to kill one or two more slaves, and it would have been, broken them and been able to reform. And then on my turn, because remember this is Skaven turn 4, I could have charged Red Group and kept my bunker okay back there. But instead I fluffed my Thunder Stomp, but I did like 1 wound, and so they're stuck here. Funnily enough, my opponent really wanted to charge Purple Group, that is the group with the BSB that my Lord has been picking on, into the flank of the Hell Cannon, and I kept telling him that that would be a terrible idea because I would just pick on the BSB until he was dead. And so he finally decided that's probably not a great idea. And so I'm not sure what he's going to do now that that unit is facing the Hell Cannon, but I'm sure he'll think of something. And in a combat that's not pictured, the Marauders, like I anticipated, pop the slaves in a single round of combat. We do so many wounds that they're not steadfast anymore because we have 8 ranks, and they explode, and then we get out of the way. So the Lord has if he rallies, has a clear charge back into the fray. On my turn 5, everybody rallies. I charge the Chosen into the Plague Monks again, and the Marauders just start wheeling around their giant butt. I think they maybe even reform, but and then in Magic, nothing really happens exciting. So we go to combat, and you can see here from this picture that the Hell Cannon has finally killed all the slaves a turn late. So it determines that it's going to do something about the Censer Bearers and the Storm Vermin. That's 205 points of an entire side of the board by itself. And it's going to just face them, so it's got a charge on whoever it wants. And of course, in combat, the Chosen wipe the monks out and have to overrun. So again, like I said, they're out of position, and I just really can't do anything about it. I'm pretty sure I failed my restrain test, and that's why I charged the Plague Monks this turn. Skaven turn 5 starts with a bang. He charges the giant horde of Storm Vermin into the Hell Cannon, which I'm pleased with. It also makes sure that his Plague Monks there in the background don't do anything, which, again, this is turn 5 out of a 6-turn game, and he has 12 Plague Monks that have yet to do anything. I'm really okay with that. The Red Group in the back, they charge my Marauders, and my Marauders flee again, trying to conserve some points. I'm really kind of taunting Red Group here. I feel kind of like a jerk, but you know what? I'm saving a bunch of points and also a banner this way. So that sounds good. I'm keeping that unit occupied. You can tell from this picture what happened in the combat. The Storm Vermin failed their fear test. The Hell Cannon went absolutely bonkers because it's only slightly underpowered, and it killed probably 8 of them with its 5 regular attacks, it's 3 handler attacks, and it's Thunder Stomp. And they were steadfast on an 8 because I had killed enough to break a rank. But unfortunately, they rolled a 9, and they rolled a 9 again. So they fled, and I just let them go. I reformed to face Purple Group because, again, this is Blood and Glory. I've just got their banner, so I need to get rid of the BSB. So I face towards Purple Group and get ready to rumble. So my last turn, turn 6, is really pretty epitomized in this picture. The only thing of note that happens, my Marauders charge, my Wizard hides around the Wording Well, the Lord moves out of some charge ranges, and the cannon charges into the flank here of Purple Group. They had turned to look at the Marauders, and then the Storm Vermin ran away. So here we are, the combat that I kept warning him he didn't want, and here it is, my turn 6. So hopefully I can get this, pick up these 2 banners, and win. In combat, he does hold and reforms to face me. So we're looking on to turn 6, last turn of the game, before I can do something exciting. And so we'll skip right to the end of combat here on turn 6. This is what the picture looks like, but I won't get into the results yet. His turn 6 is red group charges my Marauders, who again flee, and I'm feeling like a real big dick at this point, but I've got to save that banner. That's the banner that will lose me the game. So I run. In Magic, he tries to shoot my Wizard with the Warp Fire Thrower just because we're thinking that it's coming down to points, and he misses. He needs an 8 or a 10 or something, and he rolls a 2. So that's excellent. Again, his Sensor Bearers do nothing. So that's an entire game and like 300 points of Sensor Bearers that didn't do anything. So in combat, I have to kill I have to get both of these banners to break him on his fortitude points. So I have to direct all my attacks. So here you can see the massive carnage that I do with the completely underpowered Hell Cannon, and I don't know why ETC comps that you can't have 2 of them, because certainly a unit that can shoot a strength 5/10 template also needs to be able to do this much damage in close combat. But you can see they've got 1 full rank, which puts them on a 7 with a reroll, and they make it on the reroll. So it was really, really tense, 50-50 shot that second time, and pretty much that's the end of the game. And then we have to go to victory points, because for the first time ever in 8th edition, Blood and Glory didn't end with fortitude points breaking people. So we went to victory points, and as you can see, it was victory to the Warriors of Chaos. Some of the stuff I learned was bad positioning can really kind of snatch victory from you. Both my Chosen and my Marauders were really, really, well, they were screwed because of the way I positioned them, and that's something I have to pay attention to in the future. And really, if it weren't for the inherent killiness of my army, I never would have got into any kind of favorable combats. The second thing I learned was that if I'm going to use a Lord to try and assassinate characters, he has got to have the Crown of Command, because otherwise I will be making very white-knuckled flee runs, because even on a 3d6, if I roll poorly and get caught, that's almost, that was 350 points that was going to get run down, especially in Blood and Glory. I can't allow that. The third thing is that Skaven have got to shoot. I think that my opponent took this list as kind of a reaction to me bitching a little bit in the last game, when I took 2 turns of removing models and kind of being pissed at myself and at him. But this was definitely not the way to go, and I've talked to him since then. I told, I apologize for being a whiner, and then I've also told him that really he has to take some kind of shooting. There's just nothing that he could do for the inevitable combats. The final thing that I learned really was that the Hell Cannon is a beast, and I should stop using it to just shoot. My opponent mocks me a lot about it. Oh, well, haha, you pay 200 points for a stone thrower. And I just have a problem mentally getting past but if I move it, I give up its ability to fire. But this game really proved to me that even as a standalone monster, it's well worth 205 points. And so really I should look at the shooting as more of a side benefit rather than the main event. And the main event should really be putting it straight on my line and charging in, and I should just use that shooting if I ever need to, not necessarily as the reason that I take it. Anyway, as always, I hope that you enjoyed the battle report. I'll be putting up some more. I have a new ogre opponent uh, coming up in my area. He's new, so he'll have some proxy stuff, but I'd still love to put it up, and I'm sure that he'd love to hear what I have to say about it, so we'll see how that goes. Until then, if you like the channel, subscribe, drop me a line, whatever, and keep having fun.